Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Quick update. The series What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these three fanfics. What if Reborn in Highschool DxD as a Lucifuge? What if Transmigrated to Medieval Pokemon World? What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 501, Damn it. Blue really is, ha. Giovanni couldn't help but chuckle twice and shake his head as he heard Blue's bold declaration from the stands. Young people were always brash, he understood. And someone as proud and fiery as Blue was practically an endangered species. Still, I wonder if he can actually pull it off. Red is really strong. Celine giggled. She didn't think Blue could beat Red. Rankings weren't everything, but they did mean something. And Blue's ranking wasn't as high as Red's. The battle began, and of course, Blue and Red's fight instantly became a fierce, deadlocked clash. Tyranitar and Roaring Moon were both extremely powerful Pokemon. And even more so after being raised by these two. They knew each other too well, so both Red and Blue were fighting at full focus. But in the end, Red seized the opportunity and used Roaring Moon to defeat Tyranitar. Blue's expression darkened, but he recovered quickly and sent out Arcanine, successfully finishing off the weakened Roaring Moon. But Arcanine took heavy damage in return, and the momentum began to shift. Red sent out Snorlax as his second Pokemon. Blue kept Arcanine in, trying to pressure with extreme speed. Red played steadily. Eventually, Snorlax caught Arcanine during an opening, landed a crushing hit, then followed up with Earthquake to knock it out. Blue switched to Exeggutor. Red kept Snorlax in. Snorlax went down, but Exeggutor was heavily injured. Red's third Pokemon was Tornadus, one of Unova's legendary forces of nature, captured back when Red and his three teammates traveled there. Beep Tornadus, incarnate for me. Flying type, Cyclone Pokemon. Ability, Prankster. Moves, Leaf Tornado, Hurricane, Hammer Arm, Extrasensory, Swagger. Info, said to cause storms by whipping the atmosphere. Its humanoid appearance is just a disguise, not its true body, incarnate for me. Red used the incarnate form instead of the Therian form. Giovanni found the reveal glass, which let the forms of nature change to their true Therian forms. But Red preferred the incarnate form because of its prankster ability. It was stronger in his eyes. Tornadus, huh? Then Thundurus. Blue withdrew Exeggutor and threw out his fourth Pokemon. It looked somewhat dragon-like, blue upper body with purple spots, purple lower body, and a tail lined with black iron ball-like beads. Therian Thundurus. Beep Thundurus, Therian for me, electric/flying type, Bolt Strike Pokemon. Ability, Volt Absorb. Moves, Wild Bolt Storm, Thunder, Discharge, Volt Switch, Rain Dance. Info, appears amid thunder. It rains down lightning from the beads on its tail, wiping out foes with overwhelming power, Therian for me. The appearance of two legendary Pokemon sent the stadium into a frenzy. Tornadus vs Thundurus? This is the top 16. Worth every coin. Even if I die here, seeing this live was worth the ticket. Why must there be a winner? Kanto fans just want all 4 Elite Four members in the top 8. I don't even know who to cheer for. Just sure. Let's go. The arena was boiling with excitement. The fight was already intense, but with the incarnate and Therian legends on the field, it peaked. Damn it! Those are our legends. Iris nearly cried. Those were Unova's own legends. Dylan catching Reshiram and Kuram was one thing, but these Elite Four are actual bandits. They took the entire quartet of forces of nature. Her heart hurt. Kanto trainers were bandits. Why did they all come to rip off Unova? What did Unova even have left? Only the swords of justice, and if someone from another region caught them too, it'd be absurd. Their legendary heritage was being used against them. Legendary Pokemon come down to fate. Nothing to be done, Alder said calmly. Meeting legends and catching them was individual destiny, unforced and unpredictable. He was more curious which was stronger, Tornadus or Thundurus. The battle resumed. Both red and blue terastallized. Tornadus went flying Terra, Thundurus went electric Terra. No doubt Tornadus had the type disadvantage. But red didn't switch. Thundurus clearly had more firepower, its special attack was monstrous, and blue had raised it well. But battles weren't pure stat contests. Red used Tornadus expertly. With Prankster, Tornadus successfully used Swagger to confuse Thundurus and used that opening to take it down. Blue's face went green. But Tornadus was also in bad shape. Blue's fifth Pokemon, Rhyperior, defeated it at some cost. Red sent out Lapras. Blue swapped Rhyperior out and sent Exeggutor back in. But Exeggutor still fell to Lapras. Blue was pushed to his limits. Letting Rhyperior fight Lapras would be suicide, 4-time weakness to water. Blue had only his ace left, Blastoise. He Mega evolved it. Red instantly countered with his own ace, Charizard, Mega evolving into Charizard X. Charizard X was Fire/Dragon, not weak to water. Neither side had a direct advantage, though water still resisted fire. If Mega Blastoise couldn't beat Charizard X, Blue was finished. Rhyperior would never get past Lapras. I won't lose. There's no way I lose here. Blue gritted his teeth. He couldn't accept it. The situation was bad, but he believed he had a chance. He was Blue Oak. How could he fall here? This was just the top 16, and his opponent was Red. Blue, you don't stand a chance against me. Red's crimson eyes glowed beneath his brim. What crap are you spouting? Red, I haven't lost yet. Blue blared fiercely. His pride refused to accept such nonsense. Watch closely, Red. Watch how hard I struggle to keep winning. I will win. My desire for victory will carry me forward. And then. Impossible. Seeing Rhyperior collapse, Blue's face turned pale. Rhyperior fell and Mega Blastoise had lost to Charizard X. He lost. Completely. Despite struggling with everything he had. Damn it. It ends just like this? Losing in a full power battle? I finally made it this far. Blue staggered back, staring at his trembling hand in despair. He lost. To Red. This wasn't how it was supposed to be, his era wasn't even supposed to begin yet. Rhyperior is unable to battle. Lapras wins. The referee announced. Blue has lost all 6 Pokemon. Red wins. Red advances. The stadium exploded into applause and cheers. We have a victor. After an intense clash, Red defeats his powerful rival Blue and becomes the first trainer to enter the top 8. The host boomed. As expected, Blue wasn't Red's match. Giovanni clapped lightly, unsurprised. What a battle. He's grown even stronger. A terrifying rival, Leon murmured, watching the red-eyed boy. He'd fought Red before and lost by a hair, his ranking taken. But Leon believed he'd reclaim his spot someday. With one Kanto powerhouse down, hopefully they keep fighting each other, Hop laughed energetically. Kanto was too strong, too many monsters. The pressure on other regions was insane. But the matchup algorithm was doing wonders. Last round Giovanni fought his own son, and now Red and Blue fought like brothers. The matching system really knew what it was doing. Who knew what surprises came next? Leon smiled, better to prepare fully rather than rely on luck. On the field, Blue was still dazed, unable to recover. Of course, someone as proud as Blue being eliminated before top 8, and by his childhood rival, no less, it was a devastating blow. It hit him as hard as the time he became champion and immediately got dethroned by Red before he'd even warmed the seat. Blue was spiraling, even wondering if his training methods were wrong. Why couldn't he win? Footsteps approached. Blue looked up and saw Red. TCH. Blue quickly straightened up and looked away. I don't want to admit it, but you did get lucky and beat me this time. Blue muttered irritably. Losing hurt badly, but he recovered quickly. And unlike the game version, this Blue had decent mental strength thanks to a certain someone's training, and the many powerful people surrounding him. Red. But just you wait. Next time I won't slip up, I'm not losing to you again. Chapter 502, Before the Power of Dragons. The first trainer to enter the top 8 was decided, Kanto's Elite 4 member, Red. This result wasn't surprising. Red's strength had already been made clear during the ranking phase. And for many spectators, this outcome was actually preferable. Because Red eliminated Blue. Blue was also an extremely tough opponent. Having one of them knocked out through an internal matchup was the best possible scenario. Of course, that was only how the other regions felt. Fans from Kanto's region certainly did not think so. All they felt was pain. In their eyes, the ideal outcome was for all 6 Kanto region trainers to make it into the top 8. Even if that idea wasn't realistic. 6 people from the same region avoiding each other entirely was way too hard. Internal matches were inevitable. After the first match finished, a 30-minute intermission passed, and the second round of matchup selections began. Please don't let it be another internal match. Yeah. We already had one last round. The system can't keep targeting Kanto region like this, right? If it happens again, there's definitely a conspiracy. LMAO, this is your home turf. This is the Indigo Arena, remember? What conspiracy? Exactly. Who told your region to send so many monsters? I strongly support more Kanto region internal matches. Free up some slots for the rest of us. There aren't enough to go around. The audience whispered among themselves, and the livestream chat was the same. Kanto's overwhelming strength naturally became the butt of jokes from every other region. After all, out of only 16 spots, Kanto region claimed 6. Ridiculous. But that was normal. Kanto was where the Pokemon League HQ was located, of course they'd be strong. On the big screen, the trainer portrait spun rapidly, drawing everyone's eyes. I wonder if it will be my brother this time. Lily looked a little excited. She loved watching her brother battle, his calm, confident presence on the field captivated her. And standing on that stage, her brother was the focus of the entire world, wasn't he? Someone that strong deserved to stun everyone. It doesn't matter. Early or late, my turn will come. Dylan chuckled softly. He truly didn't care. There were 8 matches in total, well, now 7 left. He would face his battle sooner or later. Before long, the first portrait slowly settled. A sharp crew cut, a lean face, thin lips lifting into a composed, mature smile. It's Uncle Giovanni. Celine blinked. My turn? Giovanni's interest sparked as he looked toward the other portrait. Who would be his opponent? He glanced briefly at Dylan. So long as it wasn't Dylan, Giovanni was confident he could defeat anyone. Giovanni, that's not an easy opponent. Cynthia's golden eyes grew serious. Yes. Giovanni is one of the most dangerous people among the remaining competitors. And from what I've heard, he spent nearly half a year in seclusion training. He should be even stronger now. Beside her, Caitlin spoke in calm, measured tones. Ever since Giovanni failed in his ranking challenge against Lance half a year ago, he had been training non-stop. And although there's no formal proof, Giovanni definitely captured one of the forces of nature. Caitlin continued. As Unova's Elite Four, she naturally had access to information. Cynthia and Dawn both frowned slightly. Red has Tornadus. Blue has Thundurus. Celine has Enamorus. That leaves the last force of nature, Landorus. It must be with Giovanni. Caitlin's gaze flickered as she stared at Giovanni's portrait. Half a year ago, right after his loss to Lance, Giovanni left with Red and the others for Unova. They stayed several days. Unova officials were confused at first. Why were these four suddenly visiting? Then, in the ranking phase, the three boys each revealed a force of nature. And Unova realized the truth. These four had come specifically to capture their region's legendary gods. Damn it! Those Pokemon were sacred to Unova's culture for generations. And since Red, Blue, and Celine had already shown theirs, there was no reason to believe Giovanni, leader of the four, didn't have one. Yes. Landorus is a ground-type deity. Perfectly aligned with Giovanni's specialty. Dawn said, voice tightening. He'll be incredibly difficult to defeat. If he gets matched with Champion Dylan, that'd be ideal. Caitlin tilted her head, smiling lightly. She didn't qualify for the knockout bracket. But Cynthia did. And a Giovanni vs. Dylan matchup would benefit both Sinnoh and her workplace, Unova. Cynthia and Dawn responded with helpless smiles. At that moment, the second portrait settled. Everyone froze. A head of wild, blood-red hair. A sharp, cold face. Johto's Dragon Master Champion Lance. Oh my. Lance? Celine blinked, startled, then shot Giovanni a playful look. Uncle Giovanni, feeling confident? You didn't beat Champion Lance last time. This is... Giovanni stared at Lance's portrait for several seconds. Then his lips slowly curled upward. The perfect matchup. Something fierce burned in Giovanni's eyes. Lance. The one who subdued him on Suicune Island. The one he failed to surpass during the ranking challenge. Why did he challenge Lance immediately after locating the reveal glass? Because he wanted to know, at that moment, where he stood compared to Lance. The result needed no explanation. Without his Mega Beedrill, he fell short. But after half a year of training, he was no longer the same. Tisk, rare to see you fired up, old man. Even Blue paused his brooding to glance at Giovanni. The intensity of Giovanni's aura was impossible to ignore. To Blue, Giovanni was the model senior, calm, rational, steady, immensely powerful. He shared his ground-type knowledge generously. But honestly, Blue always felt Giovanni was too calm. No passion. But now, Giovanni radiated pure battle lust. Because it's Lance. Giovanni replied coolly, expression returning to composed normalcy. Across the arena. So it's Giovanni. Interesting. Karen crossed her legs, examining her newly done nails as she glanced at Lance. Champion Lance, any thoughts? She asked with a bright smile. A defeated challenger. Lance replied blandly. But he didn't lose easily. And he should be stronger now. After losing to Lance, Giovanni essentially locked himself away for training. Everyone knew that. Maybe he's been waiting all this time for a rematch to wash away that loss. It doesn't matter. Lance's voice was cold. Arms crossed, posture straight, the sharpness of a drawn blade radiating off him. Before the absolute power of dragons, he has no chance. His tone was steady, as if stating an undeniable truth. Ah, that confidence, that's the Lance I know. Karen laughed. She wasn't surprised at all. After working with Lance for a year, she understood one thing. This man was edgy arrogance incarnate. 3 sentences never left dragons. 5 sentences never left his Dragon Legion. People said Blue was a cocky loudmouth, but Karen felt he was still a tier below Lance. If these two ever met and talked, that would be fun to watch. Karen smiled happily and leaned back, popping a cherry into her mouth. Being knocked out in the round of 32 didn't bother her, she was just a Johto Elite 4 member. Why stress? A cushy job, a great life. All thanks to Champion Dylan. Maybe she should send him something spicy tonight? Last time she sent him a picture of herself in lace lingerie, he responded with a thumbs up emoji. Yes. Even Dylan liked beautiful women. Let's give a warm welcome to the trainers of this match. The host's booming voice echoed across the stadium. Giovanni. Champion Lance. As cheers erupted, two figures emerged from the tunnels, Giovanni in his black suit, Lance in his fitted outfit and sweeping cape. Ugh, why another internal match? Not really internal, Lance is Johto's champion now. But still feels weird seeing them fight. Champion Lance will win. The Dragon Legion is unbeatable. Unbeatable? Celine already beat him once. Giovanni might win too. Bruh, Celine is Celine and Giovanni is Giovanni. Half a year ago he lost, did you forget? That was half a year ago. Giovanni's been grinding non-stop. Not beating Lance then doesn't mean he can't now. The livestream chat erupted in debate. On the field, the two remained unmoved. Heh, should I thank the system for delivering you to me, Champion Lance? Giovanni loosened his neck slightly, a faint smile on his lips as he stared at Lance. You should feel regret. This is where your journey ends. Lance responded coolly. Giovanni annoyed him, not personally, but because of that one line he would never forget. Lance, born evil. Even if their positions had been opposed during the Suicune Island incident, Giovanni's words had left a mark. And Lance had never shaken the discomfort he felt around him. Still as arrogant as ever. But have you considered, maybe your journey ends here today? Giovanni lowered his eyes and chuckled. You? Stop me? Lance responded flatly. You've already lost to my dragons once. His tone didn't shift. He spoke as though declaring the obvious. That was then. You're too conceited, Lance. Giovanni's eyes narrowed. Today he would defeat Lance. The referee between them was sweating through his uniform, unsure whether he should speak. The air felt like it might explode. Conceited? Ridiculous. Lance gave a cold laugh, raising his chin slightly. Under the curtain of blood-red hair, his eyes glinted with regal disdain. I've told you before, Giovanni. Ants on the ground will never threaten dragons soaring through the sky. No matter how many times you come, the outcome is the same. My Dragon Legion cannot lose to your ground types. Giovanni chuckled softly. Lance was the same as ever. Defeating him would be satisfying. Let's see if you can still say that afterward. Giovanni pulled out a pokeball. Poof. Lance's lips curled into a feral grin. How amusing. You're that confident? Then allow me to break you completely. Witness the Reborn Dragon Legion. The referee nearly cried. He felt completely unnecessary. Chapter 503, A Loser Under Lance. This battle is going to be spectacular. Both Giovanni and Lance are insanely powerful trainers. Steven stroked his chin, watching the two men on the field stare each other down. But no matter how you look at it, Giovanni's ground-type team is at a disadvantage against Lance's dragon types. Wallace chose his words carefully and still decided to use dragon. Because judging from Lance's known team, calling it dragon was generous, his lineup looked more like flying types overall. And as everyone knows, ground normally can't even hit flying. Flying doesn't counter ground, but ground simply suffers. Yeah, it's tough, that's why Giovanni is so strong. Back then he fought Lance to a standstill. Steven nodded. Even though Giovanni lost that battle half a year ago, no one doubted his strength. And now, it looked like both had improved dramatically since then. On the field, the referee announced the battle rules, and the wheel on the giant screen started spinning. My move first?
Lance glanced at the screen, utterly indifferent.
His pokeball enlarged in his hand, and he raised his right arm, cloak swaying, pointing directly at Giovanni.
Dragons are sacred, mythical beings.
Raise them with dedication, and their power becomes unmatched under heaven. Giovanni, you still fail to grasp this truth.
So today. Lance's proud declaration rang loud and clear. No. Giovanni shook his head, cutting Lance off mid-speech. I understand perfectly well. Dragons are extremely strong, I don't deny that.
Lance's brows twitched.
But those are Dylan's dragons, Lance. Do you really think your dragons are comparable to Dylan's? Giovanni's lips curled slightly, his gaze faintly amused. Unrivaled dragon power?
Sure, but only Dylan had the right to say that.
Because Dylan's dragons truly were unrivaled. Oomph, slick tongue. Lance snorted coldly. So you're saying my dragons aren't worthy? Seems last time's lesson still wasn't enough to make you remember the taste of defeat. In that case, I'll make sure it's burned into your memory. Lance opened his pokeball. Hydreigon. A deep, violent roar echoed as a three-headed dragon drifted into view.
The fearsome Unovan pseudo-legend, Hydreigon.
Beep Hydreigon. Dark/Dragon. Brutal Pokemon. Ability, Levitate. Moves, Hyper Beam, Outrage, Nasty Plot, Dragon Rush, Dragon Pulse.
Info, said to be seen as the embodiment of evil long ago, constantly attacked and hated by people, thus becoming extremely violent.
A new mainstay? Looks like we aren't the only ones who've made progress.
Celine narrowed her eyes. The Hydreigon radiated vicious power. It was unquestionably strong.
Lance has been raising new dragons for a long time. His obsession with dragons is well known. Dylan said casually.
Game or anime, Lance always used Hydreigon at some point, nothing surprising. People joked that Lance was secretly a flying-type champion, and honestly, they weren't wrong. But he was a dragon-type champion too. Across all champions in the games, Lance absolutely owned the most dragon pseudo-legendaries. Dragonite, Salamence, Garchomp, Hydreigon, he'd used them all. Especially in HGSS, Dragonite, Salamence, Garchomp, 3 pseudos in one team. And in BW2's World Tournament, his team was Dragonite, Salamence, Kingdra, Haxorus, Hydreigon, Flygon. Another team with 3 pseudos.
Yep, almost every one of them quadruple weak to ice. Hydreigon wasn't, but instead was quadruple weak to fairy.
Beautiful. Looks like Lance has formed a new dragon army he's pleased with. Dylan observed. During the ranking stage, Lance had wanted to challenge Giovanni for his spot, but ended up being taken down by Celine. That loss clearly hit Lance hard.
Celine's Iron Bundle had performed too well that match, and Lance, for some reason, brought 3 Dragonite.
And the result was obvious. Now it seemed Lance had restructured his team.
Ha! Lance, let me show you who the strongest man in the world, aside from Dylan, is. Giovanni grinned, a touch wild. Yes, he believed himself to be second only to Dylan. Nidoking.
White light flashed, and a muscular Nidoking crashed onto the field, snarling at Lance and Hydreigon.
A loser under my hand, yet still dares to boast. Lance's cold gaze swept over Nidoking, then Giovanni. Second strongest beneath Dylan? How dare he ignore me? Lance could feel Giovanni's confidence far more than before.
Maybe he really had grown stronger.
But sorry. So had Lance. Retreat training? Like he hadn't also been training obsessively?
His dragon army had been rebuilt from the ground up.
Battle. No more words.
Both wanted only to defeat the other completely.
The match began. Both were top-tier trainers, and not strangers, they understood each other's battle habits. That only made the fight harder. Especially for Giovanni.
Ground can't hit flying, a natural disadvantage. Even for him, that was tough to overcome.
Especially against Lance. A master of aerial combat.
His Pokemon excelled in flight, feints, evasions.
Despite Lance's obsession with absolute dragon power, he never underestimated Giovanni.
Fortunately, Giovanni was steady, defensive, patient, waiting for openings.
Finally, he caught one.
An ice beam struck Hydreigon hard, forcing Lance to withdraw at first.
Impressive. Lance glanced at the panting Nidoking. Hydreigon was badly injured, but Nidoking wasn't doing much better.
Hydreigon was a pseudo-legend.
Tough by birth, even before Lance's training.
And this one had been trained with Lance's full dedication, not comparable to Iris's.
Then how about this? His second Pokemon flew out. Gyarados.
A savage Gyarados landed. Seeing Lance reach for his keystone to Mega-Evolve Gyarados, Giovanni chuckled softly.
So Lance still hadn't found a Dragonite.
And rumor had it he'd been trying every Mega Evolution he could: Gyarados, Charizard, Salamence, Garchomp.
But against Giovanni, Mega Gyarados was the best choice. Yet this only amused Giovanni more.
Talk big about ground-crawling ants, but his choices were awfully honest.
Mega Gyarados was proof. If Lance truly saw ground as pitiful, why not Mega-Evolve Charizard or Salamence? Nidoking, return. Since the opponent brought Mega Gyarados, Giovanni naturally withdrew Nidoking.
This Mega Gyarados had followed Lance through countless battles, a true mainstay.
Kangaskhan. Giovanni sent his second Pokemon. A powerful Kangaskhan landed heavily, the baby in its pouch purple-colored, peeking out. Lance's eyes narrowed. Using his ace Kangaskhan already? That wasn't typical Giovanni behavior. So the rumors were true. You caught the incarnate Landorus?
You tell me, Giovanni replied casually, raising his keystone.
Kangaskhan glowed with mega energy. The baby leapt from the pouch, rapidly growing within the light.
Moments later, mother and child stood together.
Beep, Mega Kangaskhan. Normal type. Parent-child Pokemon. Ability, Parental Bond. Moves, Outrage, Crush Claw, Earthquake, Fake Out, Sucker Punch.
Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Gyarados stared each other down.
Lance analyzed quickly. Mega Kangaskhan was powerful and annoying, very troublesome. Mega Kangaskhan, such a strong Mega Evolution. Blue sighed in admiration. Indeed. Most Mega forms are straightforward boosts, but Mega Kangaskhan's ability is unusually potent. Celine agreed wholeheartedly. Parental Bond was absurd. Attack twice sounds normal, right?
But Mega Kangaskhan was literally two separate individuals.
2 strikes. 2 chances to trigger effects. Multi-hit but not multi-hit.
The child is a separate attacker.
Boosting moves like Power-Up Punch activated twice. Flinch moves like Rock Slide triggered double flinch chance.
It was like a 2-unit team sharing one moveset.
Celine genuinely thought Mega Kangaskhan was terrifying. Chapter 504, You Are the Challenger.
The battle between Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Gyarados was extremely intense. After all, both Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Gyarados were experts in close combat. But as the battle went on, Mega Gyarados gradually fell into disadvantage. When Mega Gyarados once again used Aqua Tail to block Mega Kangaskhan's Drain Punch and braced itself with full force, the baby Kangaskhan suddenly rushed in from the side, leaping high.
With its fist glowing white, it smashed it hard onto Mega Gyarados' head.
Fighting-type Drain Punch was super effective against Mega Gyarados, who gained a dark typing after Mega Evolution.
Though the baby Kangaskhan wasn't as strong as its mother, its strike still hurt Mega Gyarados.
Mega Gyarados groaned in pain, forcing power outward to knock Mega Kangaskhan back, then turned toward the baby Kangaskhan and roared in fury. But the baby Kangaskhan didn't linger, it quickly retreated to its mother's side, baring its teeth at Mega Gyarados.
Mega Gyarados panted heavily, slowly rising into the air, its fierce eyes locked on the 2 Kangaskhan before it. The 2 sides faced off once more. Feels like Mega Gyarados is really falling behind. It's obvious. Mega Kangaskhan used to be Giovanni's ace. Besides, 2 versus 1 is so shameless.
This is the World Championships, a fair competition.
How can a Pokemon like that be allowed? What's shameless? Mega Evolution is completely legal and fair. What now, you can't beat it so you want Mega Kangaskhan banned?
The ideal plan is to let Mega Gyarados wear down Mega Kangaskhan, then Dragonite comes in to finish it.
Spectators everywhere discussed excitedly, that's the joy of competitive battles. Mega Gyarados isn't Mega Kangaskhan's match. Lance isn't switching it out yet? Wallace looked puzzled. The match had been going on for a while. Despite having aerial advantage, Mega Gyarados clearly couldn't overcome Mega Kangaskhan.
Mega Kangaskhan's raw power was already no weaker than Mega Gyarados, not to mention it had the baby assisting beside it. Though the baby could only mimic Mega Kangaskhan's moves due to the Mega energy that accelerated its growth, the 2-on-1 advantage was still overwhelming. Although tough, there are still openings and Mega Gyarados can be used to exhaust Mega Kangaskhan.
Steven speculated. Mega Kangaskhan was extremely strong.
If Lance didn't want to use his Ace Dragonite too early, he had to sacrifice Mega Gyarados. Now that Giovanni had a new ace, preserving the main Dragonite's condition became necessary.
The battle continued. After revealing some move information, Mega Kangaskhan managed to defeat Mega Gyarados. Lance lost the first point. Giovanni withdrew Mega Kangaskhan instead of letting it continue fighting.
Both sent out their third Pokemon.
Lance sent out Salamence, Giovanni sent out Rhyperior.
This time, Lance altered his strategy, favoring ranged special attacks instead of close combat pressure.
Rhyperior was quadruple weak to water even with solid rock. Hydro Pump from Salamence hit brutally hard. Rhyperior fell, though Salamence suffered heavy damage as well.
Giovanni then sent out Great Tusk as his fourth Pokemon, taking advantage of the opening to defeat Salamence.
Lance responded with Naganadel, the Ultra Beast he had once obtained from Gus. Beep, Naganadel. Dragon plus Poison type. Poison Needle Pokemon. Ability, Beast Boost. Moves, Dragon Pulse, Toxic, Nasty Plot, Sludge Wave, Air Cutter. Info, an Ultra Beast that fires sticky, luminous poison from its stinger. This one is going to be troublesome for Giovanni. Watching Naganadel, Mizuki raised a brow. A Poison plus Dragon typing gave Naganadel great resistances. Though weak to ground, Naganadel could fly.
Fast and powerful, it was the definition of a high-speed cannon, with no need to fight Great Tusk up close. Unlike Salamence, which, being a mixed attacker with higher physical attack, inevitably got baited into close combat by Lance.
Yeah, hard to deal with. Blue nodded.
Giovanni specialized in ground types, very few on his roster could fly.
Giovanni let Great Tusk fight for a bit, but it was hopeless. It even ate a powerful Dragon Pulse. Giovanni promptly withdrew it and sent out his fifth Pokemon, the flying-capable Glisker. Another fierce battle followed, but Glisker still fell to Naganadel. The Ultra Beast's strength was exceptional. However, Glisker did its job, leaving Naganadel heavily injured. Naganadel's bulk was terrible. Giovanni then sent out Nidoking in traded blows, forcing a mutual KO.
At this point, Giovanni had lost Nidoking, Rhyperior, and Glisker. Lance had lost Gyarados, Salamence, and Naganadel.
The match was extremely close, neither side held a clear advantage. Lance sent out his injured Hydreigon again, while Giovanni sent out Mega Kangaskhan.
Hydreigon did have aerial advantage, but unlike Naganadel, it wasn't a fast attacker, and Mega Kangaskhan had priority Sucker Punch.
With the speed of Sucker Punch closing the gap, Hydreigon struck back but was still defeated. That leaves you with only 2 Pokemon, Champion Lance. With the advantage now his, even calm Giovanni couldn't help speaking. Feeling pleased just because you're temporarily ahead? Lance sneered. You think you're better than me? Giovanni, let me tell you. Today, you still can't beat me. My Dragon Legion does not lose. He pulled out a luxury ball and threw it. Dragonite. A massive Dragonite landed heavily before him, a giant Dragonite. So it really is that one. Giovanni narrowed his eyes slightly at its overwhelming presence.
Though Lance had swapped his primary lineup, he still brought the giant Dragonite. Its huge body weakened its evasiveness, but its raw physique and power surpassed even Lance's ace Dragonite.
Return, Kangaskhan. Giovanni withdrew Mega Kangaskhan and sent out Great Tusk to take on the giant Dragonite.
The fight began.
The giant Dragonite's power was overwhelming.
Great Tusk fought hard but was eventually defeated, though not before landing a final Ice Spinner as a last strike. Then Mega Kangaskhan returned for another intense clash. Mega Kangaskhan had Ice Punch and Avalanche, but the giant Dragonite's power was terrifying. It countered Ice Punch with Fire Punch, matching it evenly.
Still, Giovanni found an opening. Avalanche landed cleanly, Ice Punch connected as well.
But the price was the loss of Mega Kangaskhan.
I told you, Giovanni, you can't beat me.
Lance's cold, confident voice carried across the field. Now he held the advantage.
Whoever led spoke first, fair enough. In your own words, Champion Lance, temporarily ahead, and already arrogant?
Giovanni calmly retrieved Kangaskhan, adjusting his collar with effortless poise despite the tension.
You? Lance glared hard at Giovanni, face emotionless. Then this will be the last. Giovanni drew his final pokeball, the one that would decide victory or defeat. Landorus. With a low roar, a tiger-like figure descended before Giovanni. Landorus in its Thurian for me, its eyes sharp and imposing. Lance studied it, brows tightening.
Its aura alone made it clear this Landorus was powerful.
Deep Landorus, Thurian for me. Ground/flying type. Abundance Pokemon. Ability, Intimidate. Moves.
Sandsir Storm, Fissure, Outrage, Hammer Arm, Stone Edge.
Info: when it soars in its Thurian for me, it brings prosperity to the land, revered by people.
One moment is enough for it to traverse the Hisui plains.
A legendary incarnate. So Giovanni truly had captured Landorus.
Many had guessed, but seeing it for real was different. And if Giovanni saved it for last, it meant Landorus was even stronger than Mega Kangaskhan.
But it didn't end there. Giovanni took out a black terrestrial orb.
The orb flared with dazzling light.
Terrestrial. A shining Thurian Landorus emerged, its Terra type, flying. Many spectators froze. Giovanni, a ground specialist, using a flying Terra ace? Unexpected. The battle began. Under Intimidate, the giant Dragonite's attack fell. Landorus struck first with a sudden slap, smacking Dragonite across the face. Dragonite flinched. Stone Edge followed, jagged boulders exploding against its body. When the dust cleared, the giant Dragonite had fallen. Already worn down by Great Tusk and Mega Kangaskhan, it couldn't withstand a super effective Stone Edge. Dragonite. Without wasting time, Lance sent out his final Pokemon, his ace Dragonite, and immediately terastallized it. A Terra Dragon Dragonite versus Terra Flying Landorus. A dragon and a tiger faced off in the air, pressure crushing the stadium atmosphere. Battle. The two lunged. Dragon didn't resist flying, and that didn't matter. Neither side cared anymore about type charts. Dragon Claw versus Brick Break. Breaking Swipe versus Terra Blast. Dragon Rush versus Stone Edge. The two clashed wildly in the sky, their wounds worsening. But Lance's expression grew grim. Even with Terra Dragon, even with stab bonuses, his Dragonite wasn't gaining ground. Landorus only had Terra Blast and Fly as flying moves, no others. What did that mean? Its power surpassed Dragonite's. Even with non-stab moves, it could suppress Dragonite. The Savage Dragon and the descending Land Tiger collided yet again. Dragon Rush versus Fly. Shockwaves tore through the air. But after a brief struggle, Dragonite is failing. Spectators realized it at once. Dragon Rush's aura was being pushed back, Landorus was overpowering it.
Finally, Landoris shattered Dragon Rush's force and slammed into Dragonite, knocking it from the sky.
Giovanni commanded the follow-up. Landoris unleashed outrage. Lance's face darkened. Dragonite is unable to battle. Landoris wins.
Since Lance has lost all 6 Pokémon, Giovanni is victorious.
Giovanni advances.
The referee's voice boomed across the arena.
Woo!
Thunderous cheers erupted. To spectators, this full 6v6 battle had been incredible.
Giovanni stood on the field, savoring the moment. Looks like I've won.
He stepped toward Lance, wearing a faint smile.
Even an ant crawling on the ground can defeat the dragon soaring in the sky. Don't you think?
Oof.
This time, I lost. Lance snorted coldly, not avoiding the truth. He had given everything. No excuses.
But he was far from accepting defeat.
Lance, I hope you remember, Giovanni walked past him, one hand in his pocket. From now on, you are the challenger. Chapter 505, Ash, why aren't you competing in the World Championships? From now on, you are the challenger?
Hearing Giovanni's parting words, a faint twitch appeared on Lance's face, but he quickly suppressed his emotions.
Even so, his fists had unknowingly clenched tight.
He was frustrated, deeply unwilling to accept it. But Lance understood well, no matter how he argued right now, it was meaningless.
He lost. Giovanni.
Lance stared sharply at the middle-aged man's back like a drawn blade.
It was fine, there would still be opportunities.
As one of the top 8 from the ranking phase, he had one revival privilege.
If he won the revival match, he could return. Giovanni. Just wait. I'll be back. The battle between Giovanni and Lance had ended with the unexpected result of Giovanni avenging his old loss. For Giovanni's supporters, it was a moment of pure triumph. But for Lance's fans? Devastation.
No one expected that the Giovanni who had been defeated half a year ago would now overturn the heavens. That Landoris was a bit too strong. After watching the entire match, Lily frowned slightly.
Seriously? That was Lance's ace Dragonite, and it still got suppressed. Amazing.
Leon was equally astonished. Lance's ace Dragonite was extremely powerful, yet Giovanni's Landoris, which he had only trained for half a year, fought the Terra Dragon Dragonite evenly in close combat, even slightly overpowering it. According to legend, Landoris appears to stop Thunderous and Tornadus when they fight. That might imply Landoris is stronger than both.
Lily mused. Thunderous and Tornadus were known for their destructive, ill-natured personalities, bringing storms and ruining crops wherever they went.
When they rampaged, Landoris always appeared to quell them.
Sound familiar? Yes, almost like a Galar version retelling of an ancient Hoenn myth.
Of course, the forces of nature couldn't compare to the super-ancient Hoenn legends, the power gap was massive.
But Landoris was clearly stronger than the other two.
With such base strength, and half a year of careful training, it wasn't strange that Landoris became Giovanni's new ace.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Facing Giovanni in battle will be spectacular. Leon said eagerly. Lance has fallen into the losers bracket. I wonder if he'll manage to return later. Maybe.
It depends on the full top 8 lineup.
Leon shook his head, no one knew yet. After all, only 2 of the top 8 had been decided so far. With Dylan's group. Congratulations, Uncle Giovanni.
That was such a stylish victory.
Celine beamed. Nothing surprising. I prepared a great deal for this day. Giovanni chuckled, clearly in a good mood. Of course he was.
Defeating Lance on the world stage, nothing felt better.
With Beedrill banned, Giovanni had indeed worked extremely hard to defeat Lance. With this, one of ours is eliminated, and to advance. Leaf commented as she looked at Giovanni's portrait on the screen. Who would have believed it?
Last year this man was the rocket boss everyone hated, the source of Kanto's darkness. And now, he had become one of the most famous and strongest trainers in Kanto. Blue clicked his tongue unhappily, glancing at Red. If not for being matched against Red, he would have advanced for sure. The first two matchups were both Kanto trainers.
Is the pairing system messing with us?
Leaf complained again. Given they were at Indigo Plateau, the system was developed in Kanto, perhaps it really was biased. True strength doesn't worry about these things.
Come on, let's get lunch. The rest are afternoon matches.
Red said. The round of 16 usually took 2 days, 4 matches a day. And now, with Red and Giovanni advancing, the remaining 2 matches of the day were in the afternoon.
Dylan's group headed to the athlete village.
With the official World Championships underway, the village had become lively, packed with tourists from all over the world, and lots of vendors.
They picked a restaurant with good reviews.
On the way, they ran into many fans. After all, everyone in their group was highly recognizable. Not long after they entered a private room, more people walked in Oak Snowfield and the others.
Hey Ash! Misty! Brock! And Pikachu! Long time no see. Dylan greeted them warmly. It really had been a long time.
Ash had started in the Orange Islands this year, then moved to Johto for the Silver Conference. So it had indeed been more than a year.
Dylan genuinely cared about the kid.
They got along well, and he looked forward to the day when a fully grown Ash would challenge him.
Long time no see. Pikachu.
Dylan rubbed Pikachu's head, the same soft, familiar sensation.
Pikachu didn't resist, rather, it enjoyed it.
Dylan's Viridian force made most Pokémon feel naturally comfortable around him unless they had terrible temperaments.
Ash, how'd you do in the Silver Conference? Dylan asked with interest. This world wasn't the anime.
Even without Dylan, events wouldn't match the original exactly.
Well.
Ash scratched his head awkwardly.
Don't ask.
He stopped at top 16 even though Charizard tried so hard.
Misty rolled her eyes. It wasn't my fault.
They were all ridiculous. Poison this, toxic spikes that.
Hex, curse, destiny bond, come on.
Ash pouted, looking almost betrayed as he glanced at Dylan. His tournament journeys these past 2 years had been rough. Last year, he was eliminated by Jeanette's poison team. This year? He fought his way through chaos to reach top 16 only to meet a slimy ghost-type trainer. His invincible Charizard was traded away by a Mismagius using Destiny Bond.
His other Pokémon couldn't handle the opponent's ghostly tricks either.
No, he didn't meet Gary in top 16. Gary didn't compete in the Silver Conference this year, he attempted the World Championships instead.
And then
he decided to switch to becoming a researcher. He felt maybe being a trainer wasn't really for him.
Ha! Dylan laughed awkwardly.
To be honest, the rise of poison and ghost-type trainers in Kanto and Johto really was because of him.
Dylan quickly changed the subject.
Say, Ash, why didn't you take part in the World Championships?
I did register.
But Ash's reply came naturally. He loved Pokémon battles, and the World Championships were exactly his kind of thing.
But then he hesitated. I think I still want to travel more. Going on adventures with my partners, that's what I really want right now. I see. Dylan nodded.
Traveling unfamiliar regions, meeting all sorts of Pokémon and people, hearing local legends, enriching your experiences, that truly is an excellent path for growth. Giovanni sipped his tea, his deep voice rumbling calmly.
Yeah. Ha ha.
Ash blinked, confused, scratching his head. Seeing everyone look thoughtful, he could only laugh awkwardly.
Was that really what he meant? He just wanted adventure like he'd dreamed of since he was a kid. No matter the reason, knowing what you want is the most important thing. Ash, don't mind what others say. Just follow your heart. Dylan smiled. I know. Ash grinned brightly. It's just
Everyone is joining the World Championships, so not working on my ranking feels weird. He cited this year the championships were so huge that many people kept asking about his ranking. I once told Celine something, and I want to tell you the same thing.
Dylan glanced at Celine, who was devouring grilled meat like it was oxygen.
He rolled his eyes.
Hearing her name, Celine instinctively looked up with her mouth full.
All the sights you see, all the adventures you go through, all the encounters you experience, they'll become nourishment for your growth,
Dylan said warmly. Celine blinked, recognizing the words.
The World Championships is a place to test and prove yourself.
But for you right now, Ash, it may not be the right path. Keep traveling. Follow your heart. Dylan patted his shoulder. Since the moment you started your journey, don't forget its meaning. I believe that when you return from your travels, you'll be a very different trainer.
Yes, only through long, genuine travel would Ash become the strongest version of himself. It was his journey, his foundation. And still the same words, Ash, I'll be waiting for you to challenge me. Dylan truly looked forward to the day when a fully grown Ash, using his strongest team, would challenge him.
A little transition here.
As for the battle with a fully evolved Ash, it may be in the finale.
Or maybe not. Depends on how things go. Chapter 506, How will you handle it? Welcome back to Indigo Arena.
This morning we've already determined 2 of our top 8.
Now let's continue and see which trainers will advance next. The slick back-haired announcer's passionate voice reignited the stadium atmosphere.
On the giant screen, portraits spun rapidly. With Leaf and Giovanni advancing, only 6 matches remained.
No one dared relax, on the contrary, tension was even higher.
After all, anyone who reached top 16 had no weakness.
And most importantly, why hasn't champion Dylan appeared yet? Celine kept complaining.
Out of all contestants, Dylan was the one she cared about most. This man was like a final boss just lurking among the remaining contestants, and she couldn't calm down at all.
What if someone got matched with him?
I really wish every match put champion Dylan in the first slot so he can hurry up and advance.
Hilda and the others laughed.
The first portrait stopped. A bright, smiling black-haired girl in a sun hat appeared.
Celine. Finally my turn? Celine's big eyes lit up.
After watching 2 intense battles that morning, she was bursting for action.
Don't get too worked up. What if you get a tough matchup? Leaf teased. Humph. As long as it's not Dylan, anyone is fine. Celine puffed up proudly, turning to Leaf.
With my bond with Dylan, there's no way we'd meet this early. We'll fight in the finals. On the world's highest stage. That was her confidence. She believed she'd be the one standing before Dylan in the end.
Red, Giovanni, anyone in the way would fall. Oh? Not necessarily. Look, you got matched with Dylan.
Leaf grinned mischievously and gestured to the screen.
What? Impossible. That must not happen. Celine froze in shock.
She absolutely did not want a battle with Dylan in a small place like this. She whipped her head toward the screen, then her cheeks puffed up angrily.
Leaf. Sorry, you're just too cute. Leaf laughed innocently. But your opponent is pretty special.
Celine raised an eyebrow and saw the green-haired young man in a white cap.
The trainer chosen by the Dark Dragon of Ideals, N. Well, it's fine. I'll win. Flames lit in Celine's eyes. The legendary Zekrom, the Dragon of Ideals, huh?
A huge challenge, but
he'd lost to Dylan before. As Dylan's student, she couldn't embarrass him.
She looked toward Dylan.
He smiled back. Good luck. Celine's determination soared. Oh?
That girl, she's frighteningly strong.
Alder clicked his tongue as he looked at the brackets. Celine, one of Kanto's monsters, even defeating Champion Lance for his ranking.
She looked harmless and sunny, but she was undeniably one of the world's strongest trainers.
And, what do you think? Alder asked. Dylan's student, I'm looking forward to it. Anne's eyes shone gently. Could Dylan's student withstand the lightning of the Dragon of Ideals? All right.
Both trainers are ready, please welcome them to the field.
Celine. Anne.
Thunderous cheers erupted.
From opposite tunnels, two figures emerged, the shorts and suspenders girl Celine, and the casually dressed Anne. Celine. You can do it. Anne will win. With the Dragon of Ideals, who besides Dylan can beat him? That's not true. Celine can. Right. If defeating Zekrom is a miracle, Celine will make it happen. Let's go. The crowd roared.
Celine was one of Kanto's Elite Four and Dylan's former student, who had defeated Lance in the ranking phase. Anne, though previously unknown, defeated Steven in top 32, and most importantly, he used Zekrom. One of the Unova Dragon pair of myth everyone knew Reshiram was with Dylan, few knew where Zekrom was until now.
Anne, huh? Can that girl really win? Lorelei murmured. Zekrom is extremely strong. Her odds aren't high, Bruno rumbled.
In the wild, with her full team, maybe.
But in a formal 1v1 format?
Very hard, Agatha said calmly. She understood that top champions could fight high legends, but only in unrestrained field battles.
What do you think, Lance? Lorelei asked. After all, Lance had once held Zekrom. He didn't answer.
Lorelei shrugged, he was cold-natured, and losing to Giovanni earlier couldn't help his mood.
Celine has the higher chance.
The sudden statement shocked them.
Lance believes Celine had better odds?
He ignored their expressions.
Zekrom was strong, but never invincible.
If he fought it, he wasn't without chances, and Celine had defeated him. Her arsenal of strategies was far deeper. Anne was strong, but aside from Zekrom, Lance knew the rest of Anne's team lagged behind, that would be his fatal weakness. And more importantly, the trainer's command mattered.
Anne commanding Zekrom, or Lance commanding Zekrom, who was stronger? An obvious answer. Anne simply couldn't pull out Zekrom's full power. On the field. The referee announced the rules, then backed away. The pointer stopped, Celine had the first move. She smiled, enlarging a pokeball. Anne. Yes, Celine? Anne replied gently. Have you ever lost to anyone besides Dylan? The trainer chosen by Zekrom should have almost no defeats.
And Anne himself was strong.
I have, Anne answered without hesitation.
Losing to Lance in the wild was good for him, it helped him face himself.
I thought you never had. Celine blinked, almost disappointed. Is that a problem? Anne asked. Nope. But I'm sorry, there's no way I can let you win today.
I'll be sending you home here.
Celine's energetic voice rang with blazing confidence.
She was determined to stand before Dylan.
I see. Then show me. Anne smiled warmly. The battle began. Celine opened with her powerhouse Iron Valiant.
A brutally fast, brutally hard hitter.
Anne sent out Klinklang, resistant to fairy, weak to fighting. There was no suspense. Iron Valiant was too fast. Archeops fell next. Sediton. Down. Caracosta Iron Valiant barely won. Celine switched to Jengar Mega Evolution.
Anne responded with Terra Dark Zoroark, but it fell as well.
5 Pokemon defeated. You're incredible, Celine. Anne looked at her in admiration. She was far more terrifying than Hilda and May. Celine grinned happily. Then let me show you my final support. My 6th Pokemon Zekrom. A deep dragon's roar shook the field as the black dragon descended heavily before Anne, its gaze full of overwhelming might. Zekrom is my last pillar, Anne said softly. If you want to move forward, you must defeat it.
He watched the burning determination in Celine's eyes.
Come, show me, Dylan's disciple, how will you face Zekrom? Chapter 507, What an interesting battle. Zekrom, ha! So cool. Celine's big eyes glittered as she stared at the overwhelmingly oppressive Zekrom.
Although she took part in the Suo Island battle, by the time she and Leaf and Blue arrived, Zekrom never actually appeared. It had stayed hidden in the storm clouds.
And after Lance lost, Zekrom left on its own.
So this was the first time Celine had ever seen Zekrom with her own eyes, especially appearing on the battlefield as her opponent.
As for how to deal with Zekrom,
tactics flashed through her mind. She had already planned everything before the battle began. Zekrom's power is ridiculous, but Celine's Pokémon are still in great condition.
Alder still felt uneasy.
From some of Celine's earlier battles, it was clear.
This girl's tactics were insanely unpredictable. She didn't fixate on beating opponents head-on.
Trust in Zekrom isn't something that can be taken down so easily. Iris, on the other hand, had complete confidence in Zekrom. After all, it was Unova's last remaining dragon god.
On the field. Zekrom.
N called softly.
Zekrom's intimidating golden eyes locked onto Mega Gengar.
Its massive body rose slowly, gold lightning crawling across its obsidian armor.
Thunder! Boom!
A massive golden bolt crashed down toward Mega Gengar. This was just a probe and had seen some of Celine's matches. She looked harmless, but when she fought, she could be downright sinister. And her Mega Gengar wasn't something to take lightly.
Mega Gengar quickly slipped underground, dodging the attack.
The thunder crashed into the arena, blowing sparks through the air.
Gengar, curse!
Celine called without hesitation.
Mega Gengar rose from a corner of the arena.
A decayed gray nail materialized before it.
Thunder! N's gaze sharpened.
Zekrom Dove, electricity screaming through the air again.
Will it make it in time? Everyone stared. Could Zekrom stop the curse? If curse landed on Zekrom, N would be doomed.
But at that moment, Celine suddenly smiled sweetly. N caught that expression and felt a terrible premonition.
He got you. Gengar Destiny Bond. Gay he.
The gray nail vanished.
Mega Gengar's eyes flared with eerie light. Destiny Bond? N's pupils shrank. Not good. Zekrom.
Zekrom tried to redirect the thunder, but it was too late.
Boom! The devastating bolt struck Mega Gengar.
Thunder exploded outward, wind and static tearing through the field.
Nice one, Celine. Mega Gengar won't tank that. Leaf brightened. Mega Gengar had already taken damage, and its defense wasn't great.
Even without a type advantage, thunder from Zekrom hurt like crazy.
Destiny Bond would activate.
It's clever bait, but it might not take Zekrom down outright, Giovanni murmured.
Ha! Blue blinked. Destiny Bond should have forced a trade. Could Zekrom really withstand it? Indeed. Legendary Pokémon have far higher resilience, especially a legend like Zekrom, Dylan said. Reality wasn't like a game, moves weren't guaranteed to activate perfectly.
Just like how Protect wasn't guaranteed in the anime, and a random Clefairy couldn't magically ignore a Rayquaza's Draco Meteor. Likewise, you couldn't expect Curse or Destiny Bond to instantly drop a high-tier legend.
With Zekrom's legendary physiology and strength, bringing it down with Destiny Bond wasn't impossible, but Celine's Mega Gengar pulling it off? The odds weren't high. But Celine's Mega Gengar is strong. It's not impossible, Dylan added.
The dust cleared. Mega Gengar lay fainted, no longer Mega-evolved.
A gray aura drifted out of its body, shooting straight into Zekrom.
Gray light flashed on Zekrom's armor, its body shuddered violently, hunched over as if in painful resistance.
Zekrom! N's expression changed.
Celine recalled Gengar, smiling in satisfaction.
So what if it was Zekrom?
As Dylan's disciple, she could handle this piece of cake. But soon the effect wore off.
Zekrom finally steadied itself, though clearly in terrible shape. Ha! Celine's eyes widened. It didn't fall? Destiny Bond couldn't drop it? Was Zekrom cheating? The crowd erupted in shock. Zekrom, are you alright? Anne asked, worried. I'll manage, barely.
Zekrom's voice was low and strained, clearly Destiny Bond had hit hard. And still looked tense, but his gaze toward Celine changed.
This girl. TCH, legends really are something. But if Destiny Bond didn't work, I'll just try something else. Celine didn't mind. Zekrom was badly hurt. That was proof Destiny Bond did something. She pulled out another pokeball. Wheezing.
A wheezing floated out before her. Wheezing wasn't one of Celine's main lineup, but she liked using it occasionally.
It simply knew way too many useful tricks.
Wheezing, if I recall, it can also learn Destiny Bond.
Anne's face darkened. With Zekrom this injured, another Destiny Bond could finish it. Wheezing, toxic. While Anne wavered, Celine didn't hesitate.
Wheezing lunged straight at the legendary dragon, spitting a spray of deep purple venom.
Poison-type toxic. Anne inhaled sharply. Damn it! Curse, Destiny Bond, toxic. Could she use anything normal? Thunder!
Zekrom blasted the toxic apart and the bolt slammed into Wheezing. When Wheezing floated up again, it was in awful condition.
Wheezing! Celine called again, and Wheezing darted forward. Anne's expression twisted. If he used Thunder again, he could definitely knock Wheezing out. But what if it used Destiny Bond?
But with Wheezing already inches from Zekrom. Anne made his decision.
Zekrom! Thunder! Zekrom rose slightly. A golden bolt shot down. Anne stared at Wheezing. Destiny Bond! Celine shouted. As expected. Zekrom!
But this time Anne was prepared. Zekrom growled, shifting the lightning so it grazed past Wheezing, avoiding the trigger window. The bolt flashed dangerously close. Celine, you're underestimating me.
Anne said lowly. Destiny Bond couldn't be used consecutively.
Now was the perfect time to finish Wheezing.
Zekrom, Thunder! Lightning surged. Nope, totally not underestimating you. Celine beamed. I wasn't planning to use Destiny Bond this time. Wheezing! Explosion! Anne's eyes widened. Wheezing's face twisted into a crazed grin as its entire body ignited with blinding white light. It became a miniature sun. Zekrom! Zekrom tried to flee, but... Boom! The sun detonated. A violent shockwave tore outward, shaking the stadium. The flash was so bright the audience couldn't open their eyes.
A mushroom cloud billowed upward.
Explosion! How is this happening?
And shielded his face. His blood ran cold.
A blow this huge, even a full-strength Zekrom would feel it. But right now, could Zekrom withstand it?
He already suspected the answer.
Insane.
That explosion was perfect.
Blue gasped. If Thunder hit Destiny Bond. If Thunder avoided explosion.
Celine thought of everything, Giovanni praised. Time felt painfully slow.
Finally.
With a heavy crash, Zekrom fell from the sky, battered beyond recognition. It heaved breath after breath, glaring weakly at the unconscious Wheezing.
That thing. It's still standing?
Celine recalled Wheezing, stunned.
Guess I'll need another explosion. Not bad for the dragon of ideals. She grabbed another pokeball. Zekrom, still with sharp hearing despite the pain, heard her. And immediately felt dizzy. Thud. Zekrom and Wheezing are both unable to battle.
The referee peeked nervously. Zekrom wasn't showing the usual swirly eyes, but it was clearly out cold.
He absolutely did not dare poke Zekrom to check. All 6 of N's Pokemon are unable to battle. Celine wins, Celine advances. Cheers erupted. I win! What a fun match!
Celine flashed a big bright grin at the cameras, making a playful victory sign. Compared to her, and stared silently at Zekrom, then even more silently at Celine.
Fun?
Battles between trainers always offered something to learn.
So what did he gain from this? Curse. Destiny bond. Toxic. Explosion. Anne stared blankly. He didn't feel the fun at all. Chapter 508, Kyogre, bless me. I can't believe it. Celine has defeated the legendary Zekrom. She advances to the top 8. The slick-back-haired announcer's excited shout boomed across the entire stadium. Of course he was thrilled, he was from Kanto. And although he had to maintain neutrality as a professional host, seeing a Kanto Elite Four member advance in such dominant fashion naturally made him proud. The crowd erupted. Elite Celine. Voice crack. I knew it. How could one Zekrom just run wild? Kanto's Elite Four is built different. Too dirty. Destiny bond into explosion? Shameless. You joking? Smart tactics suddenly become shameless to you? Forget clean or not. Did she beat your unbeatable Zekrom or not?
And with just 2 main battlers.
The internet went wild as well. Especially Unova netizens, every last one of them felt stifled and bitter. Zekrom's strength wasn't in question. One Thunder took out the weakened Mega Jengar, another nearly knocked out Weezing in one shot. Zekrom was monstrously strong. But instead of losing through sheer power, it got outplayed. To them, that was infuriating. So strong. Hilda looked at the girl on the field and sighed in admiration. She and the other top Unova trainers knew exactly how strong Zekrom was. And yet Celine had handled it with only 2 Pokémon. Indeed. As expected of Dylan's student. Alder nodded, convinced. But I suppose this is good for Rosa. One less terrifying opponent for her. Unova now only had Rosa left and was out. Although, the remaining contestants were all monsters anyway, so it wasn't exactly comforting. On the field, Celine and the thoughtful-looking Anne exchanged a few polite words before heading off. Next was the final match of the day. There are 10 contestants left. The chance of drawing Dylan is 1 in 9. Leon rubbed his cheek. He absolutely did not want to face Dylan right now. If Dylan dared to bring Primal Kyogre in his very first match, who knew what he'd throw out next? Come on, Big Bro's luck is always good. No way you'll get that unlucky. Hop grinned, hands behind his head. Besides Dylan, Big Bro can beat anyone. He adored Leon. Leon was his idol and lifelong goal. That's not true, Hop. I'm not scared of Mr. Leon anymore. Chloe tilted her head with a smile. She lost to Leon at the end of last year, but now she believed she was fully qualified to fight him again. And to win. Yes, even without Dylan, we can't get careless. We must give everything. Leon laughed, looking at Chloe with fiery enthusiasm. This was why he loved the World Championship. Trainers from all over the world gathering and fighting their hardest for the title of strongest. Nothing was more exhilarating. Battle. Yes. Half an hour later, the giant screen spun through the final contestants. Everyone looked up nervously. Soon, the first portrait stopped. A cute girl appeared on the screen, wearing a ball-like head accessory, bright and cheerful. May. Ha? My turn? May's eyes sparkled as she stared at the still-spinning second portrait. Steven watched nervously. Please don't be Dylan. Please. Kyogre bless us. Kyogre bless us. Don't match May with Dylan, please please please. Wallace clasped his hands, praying dramatically. They go all pancake fish, do something. Your Hoenn's legend, protect us Hoenn folk. Under Wallace's prayer, the second portrait slowed. And revealed a chic girl wearing a red hat, with ash blonde wavy hair. Kalos champion Serena. May versus Serena. Phew. Kalos's champion. May, do your best. Wallace patted his chest in relief and encouraged her. Don't worry, Wallace.
May smiled brightly, eyes curving. Victory never slips past my fingers.
Watch me.
Across the stadium, Serena studied May's portrait.
Hoen's monster, huh?
Be careful, that girl is the one who caught Latios, Diantha reminded softly.
May wasn't Hoen's champion. But everyone knew it was only a matter of time. Currently, Hoen's strongest was undeniably May. I know.
I'll treat this seriously, and I will win.
Serena nodded firmly. I'm not who I used to be. I'll win. I'll keep winning. Until.
She pressed her lips together, straightened her clothes, and walked toward the battle entrance.
Serena.
Diantha watched her go, expression heavy.
This should be interesting. Dylan raised an eyebrow, intrigued.
The protagonist of Emerald versus the protagonist of XY.
A main character showdown. Who would win? All right. Both contestants are ready. Let's welcome them to the field. The announcer's enthusiastic voice echoed. May. Serena.
The two girls stepped out from opposite entrances. Whoa, them both being this cute is illegal.
Who do we even cheer for? May all the way. Hoen's last hope. Shut up. Serena is Kalos's champion. What's May? LMAO, Kalos champ has no weight. May's a master rank number 7. Your Serena is what? No, what exactly? Oh ho. Fight. I want chaos. The stadium atmosphere was lively and positive. But online? Hoen and Kalos fans were tearing each other apart. Both regions had only one contestant left.
They were desperate to see their favorite reach the top 8.
May and Serena, unaware of the online war, stood in their positions. The referee announced the rules. The first move indicator stopped on Serena's side. Serena drew her pokeball.
Her expression turned serious.
Sorry, but I'm not handing you this win.
Her voice was calm, disciplined. Serena had always been this type. She worked so hard to become Kalos champion.
She fought so hard to reach this point. Only one step away from the top 8.
She would not fall here.
Of course. We'll fight with everything we've got. I want to advance too.
May blinked in surprise, then smiled. Her eyes sharpened. For herself.
For Stephen and Wallace.
For her parents watching proudly.
She could not lose. But she knew this would be tough. Serena was one of those trainers who hovered between master rank and ultra rank late in the season. She didn't hit master rank during placement.
But she was still extremely strong.
All right. Serena didn't speak further. There was no need. Battle spoke best.
She removed her pink hat and tied up her wavy hair, a gesture she always made before serious battles.
Meowstic, let's go.
Her female Meowstic landed gracefully before her, staring coldly at May.
A psychic-type Meowstic, huh?
May considered briefly, then threw out her own pokeball.
Agrun.
The ferocious Agrun slammed onto the field, growling at Meowstic. Meowstic narrowed its feline eyes, unfazed.
A battle between two monsters, this is gonna be intense. Nimona squeezed Penny's hand, practically shaking in excitement.
She'd been eliminated by Serena earlier, but she treasured thrilling fights more than rankings. Serena had given her an amazing match.
Now Serena versus May? She could barely sit still. I really don't know who'll win.
Penny agreed, watching the two Pokemon closely. Ever since Blue defeated her, Serena has been training non-stop, really pushing herself.
Leaf tilted her head. Yes, and the results show.
Her team is much stronger now.
Penny nodded.
Had she not improved, there was no guarantee she would have beaten Nimona in the top 32.
Nimona was also a monster. Chapter 509, I knew you'd do it. Brother, who do you think will win? Lily looked curiously at the two people in the arena and asked Dylan. Who knows? Who knows? Two overlapping voices rang out.
Dylan glanced at Leaf, who was rolling her eyes.
Knew you'd answer like that. Lily, you still don't get it? Dylan's always like this.
Leaf made a cute face at Dylan, as if saying she'd already seen through him completely.
No wonder you understand me so well, Dylan chuckled. But honestly, I really can't predict who'll win.
There are too many variables in a battle, and their strength isn't far apart. He shrugged. If it were purely based on their original game versions, he would naturally lean toward May. Even if they were both protagonists, some protagonists simply had more going for them. The strongest, without question, were Rei and Akari from Legends, Arceus, the Hisui superhumans blessed by Arceus itself.
Being handpicked by the alpha Pokemon was practically like being its illegitimate children.
They were on a completely different level.
Next were Elio and Celine from Ultra Sun and Moon. Celine's achievements were outright terrifying. Before even becoming champion, she managed to defeat Necrozma 3 times, including Ultra Necrozma, eventually subduing it. After becoming champion, she single-handedly crushed the entire Rainbow Rocket organization, beating Giovanni's entire multiverse ensemble by herself. No other protagonist even came close.
Honestly, even without Dylan in this world, Rainbow Rocket would never have succeeded. Once Celine and the others grew up, Giovanni would have been taught a painful lesson anyway.
As for Serena and May, Dylan personally leaned toward May.
But this wasn't the original plotline, and this Serena had strengthened her entire lineup.
Back then, Serena's team really wasn't so strong.
Serena and May's battle began, and as expected of the monsters of their respective regions, both girls fought at an exceptional level.
And both had captured a legendary Pokemon, May's Latios, Serena's Volcanion.
The battle raged on for quite a while, and both sides fought fiercely.
But battles must end eventually. Volcanion fell to Latios's Luster Purge.
Serena sent out her final trump card, Pheromosa.
Pheromosa struck first and took down Latios. But before fainting, Latios set up Rain Dance. May sent out her ace, Swampert, and Mega evolved immediately. Under Mega Evolution, Swampert's body enlarged significantly, its muscles surging with overwhelming strength. One look was enough to know how terrifying a single punch would be. Beep. Swampert, Mega Evolution.
Water/ground type, mud fish Pokemon.
Ability, Swift Swim. Moves, Earthquake, Hammer Arm, Liquidation, High Horsepower, Ice Punch.
Description, its upper body muscles are extremely developed. Mega Evolution reinforces its aquatic power, letting it unleash tremendous strength both in water and on land. This Rain Dance was way too clutch. Seeing Latios leave Rain Dance behind before fainting made Wallace tense up.
Without Rain, Mega Swampert would have struggled against Pheromosa. Pheromosa's speed was absurd. But in Rain, Swift Swim doubled Mega Swampert's speed.
Even if it still wasn't quite as fast as Pheromosa, at least it wouldn't be toyed with helplessly.
And with Mega Swampert's power, landing even one hit, even a neutral one, would severely injure Pheromosa. Ultra Beasts were extreme, and Pheromosa's defenses were paper-thin. Yes, May has a chance. Steven nodded, eyes locked on the battlefield.
In the arena, terrestrialized fighting-type Pheromosa stood tall and proud, its cold gaze on Mega Swampert.
Mega Swampert planted its massive arms into the ground, staring back fiercely. This was the final clash. I won't lose. Not here, never here. Serena's eyes hardened.
She hadn't expected May to be this difficult. She'd given everything, yet the fight still reached this point.
They were both down to their last Pokemon. This was it. As long as I beat Pheromosa, I win.
May inhaled deeply to steady herself. She needed full focus. She refused to lose, not with so many people cheering for her, not with her Pokemon fighting their hearts out, not with Roy and Wallace supporting her, not with her parents watching. She couldn't fall here.
May met Serena's gaze. Both saw the same unshakable resolve in the other's eyes. Battle!
Almost simultaneously, under the pouring rain, the Terra Pheromosa and Mega Swampert launched their charge.
Mega Swampert roared, tightening its right fist and swinging with devastating force. Pheromosa slipped past the blow with a simple sidestep, spinning into a whip-like kick.
Mega Swampert raised its left arm and blocked it, the massive impact only making its frame tremble before stabilizing again.
Such brute force was terrifying. Pheromosa narrowed its eyes, leaping back to avoid another punch. But Mega Swampert refused to let up.
In rain, it moved far faster than usual and pounced again.
Those huge fists were bigger than Pheromosa's entire torso. A single clean hit would be catastrophic.
The pace was intense.
Mega Swampert's attacks poured out relentlessly. Pheromosa dodged again and again, countering whenever it could.
But every counter was blocked by Swampert's arm shields.
Swift swim. Seeing Mega Swampert's brutal speed, Serena's brows knitted tightly.
Pheromosa could still keep up barely, but everyone knew the saying, a long defense is bound to crumble.
Eventually, she would slip. If she can just outlast the rain, she'll have a chance. In the stands, Diantha was tense. Rain boosted Mega Swampert tremendously. Once rain ended, its speed would drop, giving Pheromosa space to work. Could Pheromosa hold out long enough? She didn't know, but that was the only hope. Reality, however, was cruel. Pheromosa couldn't manage it.
After narrowly dodging high horsepower, it failed to evade the sweeping hammer arm. The blow sent Pheromosa flying.
It almost couldn't get back up. It's basically over. Dylan shook his head. Pheromosa wasn't knocked out immediately, but that hammer arm nearly emptied its HP bar.
From here, turning the tables was almost impossible. To win, Pheromosa needed to attack, but attacking meant taking hits.
Mega Swampert could simply tank one and trade back for a decisive blow. And that was exactly what happened.
When the rain stopped and Mega Swampert slowed down, Pheromosa landed several chip attacks, none decisive. Then Mega Swampert finally caught it with Blizzard.
Pheromosa couldn't take it. In the end, Mega Swampert narrowly defeated Serena's Terra Pheromosa. Pheromosa is unable to battle. Mega Swampert wins. Serena has lost all 6 Pokémon. May is the winner and advances. Serena's face went pale.
She stared at Pheromosa, stunned. She had lost.
We have a winner.
After an intense battle, May defeats Serena and advances to the quarterfinals.
The host's passionate voice filled the arena.
Cries rang out everywhere: joy, regret, excitement, disappointment.
Wah-ah-ah. Ha 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 ha. I knew May would win. Way to go, May. We knew you were the best. What a great battle. But what a shame, she was so close. I really feel for Serena. She tried so hard.
The audience, especially those in Hoenn, was thrilled.
Ha! You did amazing, Swampert.
May rushed to Swampert, healed its wounds, and patted its shoulder with delight.
Swampert growled softly, its fierce eyes turning gentle. It was proud of helping its trainer win. After chatting briefly with it, May looked toward Serena. She could feel how down Serena was. Anyone would be. Wanting to win so badly, giving everything only to fall short. May understood. She would have felt the same.
Serena quietly removed her headband and looked at the Pokeball in her hand for a long time before letting out a weak smile.
That was a great battle.
A clear voice reached her ears.
Serena looked up and saw her opponent. Congratulations on advancing.
She steadied herself and shook May's hand with a strained smile.
Thanks. It really wasn't easy. You're strong, Serena. And yet I still lost. Serena sighed. But no use dwelling on it.
May, I hope the rest of your matches go smoothly. She forced herself to perk up, offering May a warm smile. she knew exactly why May had come over. Even though she was upset, after a moment to breathe, she'd already regained her footing. After reaching the quarterfinals, the pressure only gets worse. Serena warned her. Compared to the round of 16, the top 8 were monsters among monsters. I'll try my best. I'm not expecting to be champion. If I reach the semifinals, that's a win already.
May pumped her fists. She'd set a small goal.
No need to aim for the championship. Make it to the top 4, stabilize, then fight for top 2.
Chapter 510, Leon vs. Dylan?
The first day's round of 16 had ended, and the 4 trainers who advanced were already the center of heated discussion.
And once again, Kanto dominated the conversation. Why? Because among the 4 who had advanced, aside from May, every single one was from Kanto. What else could the strongest region possibly mean? JPG. Kanto fans straightened their backs with pride. And with Dylan and Leaf still unmatched, if everything lined up perfectly, Kanto could send 5 trainers into the top 8.
If that really happened, it'd practically be a national holiday for Kanto citizens. And at this point, Dylan was considered guaranteed to advance, none of the remaining 8 could stop him. So now, for Kanto fans, the real question was whether Leaf could hold her own. Hilda had plenty of thoughts about that. The next day arrived quickly, and the competition resumed. Among the 8 remaining, as long as we don't hit Dylan, and we don't have to fight each other, we all still have a good chance of breaking in together.
Leon looked at the 8 portraits on the big screen. Dylan, Leaf, Leon, Gloria, Celine, Cynthia, Dawn, Blue. MHM. Celine nodded vigorously, she thought so too.
As the host announced the draw, the portraits began spinning rapidly. Soon, the first portrait stopped, a blue-haired girl in a white wool cap.
Dawn of Sinnoh. It's me? Dawn brightened immediately, delighted to see her face appear.
I hope you match with someone suitable, Cynthia said with a warm smile. Moments later, Dawn's opponent flashed onto the screen and she froze.
Shining blonde hair, elegant pale face. It was Cynthia. Dawn versus Cynthia. A Sinnoh civil war. What? Dawn was stunned. So our battle begins here, Dawn.
Cynthia raised her brows a little, but then smiled and turned to her young challenger.
Cynthia. Don't hesitate, Dawn. You want to become Sinnoh champion, don't you? Then on this grand stage, show me everything you have.
Cynthia swept her long golden hair back, her voice gentle.
No matter what, a battle against Dawn was inevitable.
If fate arranged it for today, all the better.
Yes. I understand. Dawn's eyes flared with determination. Becoming a champion as strong and graceful as Cynthia, that was her dream. And today was the greatest chance she could ask for.
Facing Cynthia on such a stage was enough to ignite her blood.
That's the gaze I wanted to see. Dawn. I believe you'll surpass me one day. Seeing the fierce resolve in Dawn's eyes, Cynthia couldn't help but smile deeply.
Since accepting Dawn's challenge last year, she had known this girl's talent far exceeded her own. Dawn was a natural-born monster. But to reach the top of Sinnoh, she would still have to topple its highest peak.
Cynthia, Sinnoh's strongest champion. Now, let's welcome both trainers. The announcer roared. Dawn. Cynthia.
Thunderous applause filled the arena as the 2 silhouettes emerged.
Damn it. Why did Dawn have to run into Cynthia? That's so unlucky.
Look at it another way, at least one of them is guaranteed a place in the top 8.
Depends on whether Cynthia can withstand Dawn's impact.
I still don't think Dawn can beat Cynthia.
Where does your confidence come from? Even Leon can't be sure of beating Gloria right now. Unless Sinnoh's monster isn't a real monster after all. These new era monsters are insane. I honestly think Cynthia isn't Dawn's match anymore. Excitement filled both the arena and the livestream chat.
Cynthia's popularity was among the highest of any champion. Beauty, grace, personality, she was flawless.
Her strength was undisputed as well.
Although the rise of the monsters knocked her out of the master class, she still held a stable spot within the top 20. Unlike a certain water-type champion, who was about to slip into the 30s. The rules were announced, the coin toss spun and landed on Cynthia.
She would move first. What a pity. What are you pitying? Leaf eyed Dylan suspiciously. I kinda wanted to fight Cynthia. Dylan sighed wistfully.
As Sinnoh's champion, she deserved to witness Sinnoh's high deity in person, meaning Arceus. He had been planning to give someone the honor of facing Arceus directly, but now Cynthia wouldn't be that someone.
You like Cynthia that much? You want to eliminate her personally? Leaf blinked. Lily also glanced over. What? No. It's just, you know. I don't know who to use it on. Dylan looked genuinely troubled.
Arceus had agreed to take the field for him once. A blessing beyond words.
But deciding who would experience Arceus divine smiting? That was the problem. Leaf's eyelid twitched wildly. Cynthia hadn't offended him in the least, they got along well. And he still wanted to hit her with Arceus? Who do you think will win, Dylan? Leaf ignored that entire disaster of a topic.
Who Dylan planned to smite with Arceus was none of her business.
Whoever that lucky victim was, their expression would definitely be unforgettable. Honestly, Leaf kind of wanted to see it. How do I see it? With my eyes. Dylan shrugged. Cynthia probably isn't Dawn's match, Lily said hesitantly. Not probably. Definitely. Cynthia isn't her match. Leaf shook her head. Cynthia's strong, and she's improved a lot. But it's not enough, Dylan added. And sure enough, the outcome required no explanation. Cynthia couldn't stop the monster that was Dawn.
Her ace, Mega Garchomp, finally fell to Dawn's Water Terra Empoleon.
Dawn advanced. Cynthia accepted the result without bitterness, instead, she was happy.
Happy that Dawn had surpassed her. The 5th slot in the top 8 was set. After a short break, the 6th match was drawn.
Only 6 trainers remained, and among them lurked a final boss.
The screen froze.
Leaf versus Rosa. Another Unova challenger? Leaf blinked. Rosa, like Hilda, was from Unova too. Great. Perfect.
On the other side, Rosa practically bounced with excitement.
Hilda, sit tight and watch. I'll avenge you today. How dare she eliminate you just because she's cute? Humph. Even heaven wants me to win. Rosa stood tall, fiery with confidence. I lost because I wasn't good enough. What are you even talking about? Hilda stared at the dramatic, Chunibu bun-headed girl. And don't underestimate Rosa. Her Pokemon feel weird. Or maybe she does.
Hilda rubbed her brows. She wasn't sure how to phrase it, something about Rosa was off.
Indeed. Be cautious.
That child defeated Hilda, Alder warned.
Humph. Relax. I never underestimate my opponents. But I believe in myself I won't lose to a little kid like Hilda did. Rosa waved dismissively. She was Rosa. Unova's representative. Other than Dylan, who could beat her? No one. Obviously no one. She was unstoppable in Unova. You just keep bragging.
You're gonna eat those words later, Hilda muttered.
Don't make me laugh, Hilda. That girl, Leaf or whatever, I'll crush her. Top 8. I'm coming. Then. This is impossible. Why is she that strong?
Rosa stared blankly at her collapsed superior, and then at the adorable little Pico covered in tiny red flowers.
Snake eats mouse, that was the rule, wasn't it? And what was with that volt tackle? Why was it so strong? Where was she borrowing that power from? Rosa felt dizzy. Her worldview cracked. Superior is unable to battle. Pico wins. All 6 of Rosa's Pokemon are down. Leaf is the winner and advances. The referee declared the result mercilessly. Leaf advanced overjoyed. Rosa was eliminated, heartbroken, especially remembering all her bold declarations beforehand. It hurt. A lot. Then came the afternoon match. Ever since noon, Leon felt strangely uneasy, his eyelids kept twitching nonstop. Soon, he found out why. I knew it. Only 4 of us left, of course it'd be me. Leon smacked his face with a loud slap, unable to look at the screen. 2 portraits appeared. Leon on the left. Dylan on the right. Leon versus Dylan. Leon felt absolute despair. There were 15 possible opponents. Why? Why him? He worked so hard for Galar, lived with integrity, had no vices, well, unless loving battles counted. Wait. Suddenly, he remembered. Last time they fought, Dylan had told him. Next time, he wouldn't use any broken dragon-type legends. That wraps up this part of What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Quick reminder. The series What If Transmigrated as a Kanto gym leader will be going on hold soon, since we've nearly caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these 3 fanfics. What if Reborn in Highschool DxD as a Lucifuge? What if Transmigrated to medieval Pokemon world? What if creating the strongest Strawhat crew by reading manga? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released 1 day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.